Hey guys, I'm gonna see. Oh my god, my children, what you did?
Outside here, which is not a thing in the game. I just want you to look at this massive portal. I'm not saying that this isn't possible in the game, because I don't know exactly how many blocks it is, but I just think it's super cool. Like, imagine a giant portal in their house, a one-to-one replica statue of themselves. And this could be a possibility in the future by adding the ability to give armor stance player skins. It would be a little bit weird having mannequins in your single-player world, but I can definitely see this being used a lot in multiplayer. Minecraft 1.22 has been speculated to be the end update. Although confirmed, if 1.22 does bring new updates to the end, one of the updates we would be seeing is a new Radium ore has been under review by Mojang for a while now. It's an ore that would be found in the end that can be smelted to make radium ingots, which could then be turned into a radium block. Radium blocks emit light, and they would be radioactive, applying anything you so building your house out of it probably isn't ideal. You know how the wandering trader has llamas? Not anymore. Well, imagine if this dog was a pet. That's right. Villagers could have the future. The concept is does. Now, I think this is a really cool idea, as long as it doesn't get too crazy. Waves could be added to Minecraft. Now, this is one of the more possible. And we probably would attack you with crab and lobster meat from killing crabs, and you can even catch them with crab traps, a new alternative to fishing. Another simple change related to the ocean is the ability to repair tridents. Right now you need another trident to repair your current trident into an anvil, when instead you could just be able to use prismarine shards to make repairing tridents a lot more affordable. Another simple change we can do is the ability to push chests with a piston. I think still seeing this suggestion, and if you play Bedrock, you would know this is impossible because it is wrong. One thing Astronaut Bedrock is another thing that could possibly be added is jump enchantment added to this that would probably be added in the future, although these might have been that it's given a cool loading just for the purpose of backpacks added in 1.22, similar to one which were just serve as an inventory inside of it, or even add one to your inventory when more, they would get a new item plus. Just wearing a backpack or just like that. Another wearable item that obviously mob heads are already more mob heads than the ones we currently have. A head for every single mob in the game. Having every mob is super cool. Challenge to collect everything. How did they get this? Colored stairs and slabs have been missing from the game for a while, and new terracotta and concrete slabs to fix this issue, or just adding every single color of wood can exist. I wonder which one will change first. Also, changing the color of the sky could be a feature coming to the game soon. Wouldn't be able to do status and survival, the command to change the color of the sky could be very cool. And we could even have sky colors for certain kind of like the fog in the nether. Or there's biomes where it's always night or always daytime. I'm looking at one biome in specific. Dog beds could be added to Minecraft, which would serve as a way to have a more permanent pet in Minecraft. As similar to how beds work on players, dog beds would set a respawn point for your dog. This would stop your friends from killing your dog when you're not. We could also see skeleton dogs, which are dogs that have been struck by lightning. A skeleton would no longer. And you could maybe even find skeletons walking around with their own skeleton dogs. Kinda like how skeletons can ride skeleton horses. Under review is a giant biome. No, not like this. This guy wrote an entire essay about the giant biome, which is the biome where everything is giant. I shrunk myself to give you an idea of how this would look. It's basically a giant mob where everything in the biome would be normal sized for the giant. It would be extremely rare, and the fights would be a lot more challenging as the bigger mobs would have more health. But because of this, they would also drop more items. Imagine mining diamond ore with giant biome, or a sapphire and crystals in the new magic biome. I don't know how this post is under review. But this biome is a similar concept to the giant biome. It has giant trees, flowers, mushroom houses, and there's a new mob that would be fair. This kind of reminds me of the Twilight Forest mod, and it would be cool to get a biome with magic. Just please don't add spells. Spells are way too easy. Another mod that could come to Minecraft is the Aether mod, but not really. The Skylands dimension is under review though. Based on the old Floating Islands world, you would build a portal kind of like another portal that could take you to a new dimension that. Obviously I'm using the Aether for reference. The concept in the Skylands, you get teleported down to the overworld, you don't just die. Beavers could also be a mod that is added in the future of Minecraft. A beaver would come with a new structure called a beaver dam, which is a reference to added to the desert. There have been a few desert updates recently. It would be a structure with palm trees, water, this would function like a real wait.
I'm
Where did it go?
fucking
I'm gonna
dumb.
die of thirst now, GG. I wouldn't die of thirst. I wouldn't die of thirst at all in Minecraft. Grappling rope is a possible future item that can be used to club things without using blocks. Beyond that, I don't see it very useful, as there are blocks in Minecraft which you can use to navigate terrain. But it's Minecraft, so you never know. Rice could also be a new plant coming to Minecraft, except you have to plant rice in water ground. Then harvest rice and use it to make some new a bowl of rice. You could make sushi. You can even make rice in a furnace. Or even a bag of rice, which could be a cool new block used to stop. Which is still somehow under review to this day. The water dragon, as if the dragon wasn't enough, I will say that the water dragon may have inspired the Lord a little. Not only are the trees falling, you've got falling leaves now. These leaves immediately change color upon touching the ground. Unless you're in a pale garden, then the leaves. Yep. Tag on the 5-year so you keep Does anyone else think it looks different? Like, this is different, right? It's being added as well. Cow is like one of those bowls because it's got horns. And this is the cold cow, same kind of thing with a fur coat again. And finally, you know Mojang had to add chicken variants too. I'm not gonna lie, the cold chicken is looking crazy. Dude got more hair than me. Instead of regular eggs, it's just a way to cold chicken different vibe. Just like actually you can get a brown egg from the golden chicken, and it's a similar concept to the blue egg. It's just used to form instead. Now Mojang is so close to adding ducks. Just add ducks, please. I have a couple things here from a month ago that have to do with sheep. New sheep, they're now upside down. I don't think it means anything. Sheep will color coded based on the biome they are spawned in. So yeah, sheep are now color coded. I don't exactly know how this works, but it's on screen. As you can see, Fortnite spawned sheep in shear a sheep now, and the little wool spots left underneath are colored as well. That's all we have for sheep for now. The sheep man is in the next update. But now I'm going to share something interesting I just found out myself. This might not even be a new feature. I don't know. But fish come in different sizes now. If you spawn a bunch personalities. It's like pandas, except it's wolves. Your wolf can now be angry. That's big AF. Your wolf can be cute. Your wolf can be grumpy. Your wolf can be public. And finally, your wolf can be sad. There's also some killer old sounds as well. News for cows. Now they have an extruded nose instead of a flat nose. Same thing for mushrooms. Super big news. And you're also able to spawn a brand new cow theme. Along with those eggs, every single spawn egg has been changed to match the mob. Some of my favorite here is the cat. It's not a cat. The villager. I don't look like he's fine. And the hog. This isn't even an egg. It's just a hog. There's also some new test ones that are happening in this update. We got the hat that's sad. It looks like a lot of skin. We got this one. It's got a crosshair on it. Got the shoulder test inside of it. And it does the same thing as all the other ones, except step for the structure. Another new like the pink petals instead of pink petals. My bush stem, which is a type of bush that have an alternative to grass now, or short grass, as it's apparently called now. For me, both of these were always called tall grass. I guess I can't do that. Because of this design on the sides of the block, it actually makes a really nice crate if placed with some other crate things. And if you place these blocks at 2x2 like this, place signs all around the sides, maybe even better. You can also mix in some of the brand new copper trapdoors on the side of the crates, and you can even change the middle to make some empty looking crates, or you can just remove the block in the middle completely and make a cool little animal house. I promise I'm gonna let him out of the house. If you want to make a more unique pet house, you can place some trapdoors like this, add some carpets on the bottom, and then put the new heavy core in the which kind of looks like a food bowl. And if you want some more food for your pet, you can place a chiseled copper like this and put a steeping bowl on the top, and it kind of looks like a melon or something. I can't really just stick to the actual melon though. I don't know if I could. Campfires like this to make and now we come to melon food. And if you want to make a chair to sit down and have a meal, here's one chair design using the new trapdoors, and here's another. Real life, it would be like 3 meters tall. Another new block coming in Wolfway 21 is the crafter, which surprisingly has a lot of different building use. To start, you can make a stove by placing the crafter on top of some campfires, and then adding a few more kitchen details like this. And you can also use a crafter to cast it if you place it facing this way instead. Who knew the crafter was the ultimate kitchen block? The bottom of the crafter can also be used as a roof, so I guess that makes it the third time it's used in the kitchen. And if you place it on the ground, it kind of looks like some kind of mat.
What the heck? And then I touch it, bro.
Items that can be built with the crafter is this PC where the crafter is used as a monitor, or you can go all out and build a flat screen TV using 2 different angles of the crafter like this. Don't mind me, I'm just sitting on my crafter couch watching my crafter TV. You can also place a crafter like this, and then put a few seats around it to create an actual functioning game. How am I moving myself? And if you want to protect your house from intruders, you can use the crafter like this. If you place a top wall with the trapdoor on each side, anything like that, it kind of looks like a crafter security on the first floor. These guys, coming up next, people had their pretty tough bricks look kind of like bricks. They get nice looking pattern. You can also use the top of chiseled tough bricks to make a really satisfying design like this. So cool, it almost looks like it's 3D. And if you take the side of regular chiseled tough and place it in a cave, it kind of looks like transcriptions on the wall. This doesn't really work the same. Blocks can be used to make really nice because of their designs. One of the fence on the top ones, it actually looks really nice mixing them together. You can even put one more block up on some parts of this and place a heavy core on top, and it kind of looks like the light that isn't on. If you pair the new top wall with a few iron blocks, it looks like some kind of power station thing that would probably look on top of a building or something. And I also found this robot mate, which uses all the new blocks in the building and the heavy cores for the eyes. I don't know, it kind of looks more like a frog than a robot. Speaking of heavy cores, the heavy core is actually a really useful block for building. So it probably is for someone who actually knows how to build. But still, you can place it on top of a table like this, and it kind of looks like a bunker or a thermos. And as we saw earlier, an item frame, it kind of looks like eyes. That's actually scary. If you place it around a dark room like this, I think I should. I trap out of copper crabs to be cooked. Remember, instead of the our crab is pretty cursed, but there are some even coming later. These copper modify this, you can replace the logs with a tug log of your choice to really make this look like a 100% real tree. You can also put a bunch of water beside your tree like this, and you can even make one of these water lilies with a copper trap. Fan. Why is this thing called a
Wow! Whoa, boost! Hey!
which you can make out of copper like
Run.
this. And if you
I
want
wanna run.
to trap doors, are really useful, and since they're see-through, you can use them to make windows like this. Guys, and if you want to use them for something that looks less like you committed a crime, you can make some fences by mixing them with other copper blocks as well. You can also just switch the grains out for a different window design, and this also fences, although it looks a lot easier for
Make our tree.
using either oxidized or and that's and honestly, I think this one is a little bit overkill. I mean, like, if these players, you're probably gonna want to have a load underneath them that they have to actually, like, and then have the now it's almost like it's first might not be that. When an armadillo regular copper trapdoors on the outside for another one of these lamp designs as well. And now these trapdoors, you can also use them as a curtain from the side of your windows instead of using them as windows like the two. If you want to make another lamp, like you've made enough already, you can put some of the top blocks like this, and then wall with copper trapdoors around this, and another weird lamp that's another household item you can put the pressure plate trapdoor is the chair, which is on top of the cabinet. There's also another chair which you can build using any type of wood. And there's the chair you can make as well, which actually just make sure you what you're sitting. Something that is in almost every not this fan. I'm sure everyone looks like signs all around more like lamp, I'm pretty sure, but fans. If you want to build a kitchen, you can luckily build using cord. If you want to take this a step further, you can place it as standard in it. Speaking of waterlogged slab, I to make a tiny grill cooking meat. You're going to want to use the bathroom by placing a diamond in. And after using the bathroom, you might want to light some scented candles along by placing an end rod underneath. Finally, you can make a garbage bin that actually works by placing a bunch of paintings around a cactus. And if for some reason you have a large one
Oh my god!
Sign like this, a block with an item frame on top, and then a bell in the middle.
I get it.
Yeah, this very large trophy that definitely won't fit on the shelf. And a super rifle that is made out of wood, which really questioning if it would work. You can also make a witch pot, which is just a respawn anchor with trapdoors around it. And you can make a dragon head that looks like it has a sword going through it. You can even add ketchup. That's definitely what this is. If those builds weren't random enough, you can make a guy who got locked up using item frames in an armor stand like this, and you can make a Lego brick if you manage to get your hands on some colored heads. If you didn't like the idea of killing the Ender Dragon earlier, you can just make a regular upside-down sword like this, and by placing a carpet underneath a block like this, and then putting an armor stand through it, you can build a chessboard, giving it a chain helmet, and putting a pressure plate underneath it. You can build a cube of ice like this, and then put an armor stand inside it. Push the ice on top of it with you can also make some cracked ice like on top of it and by using
I laugh. Yeah, you shouldn't be
on top of the guidance brake and place the like a plate like this. And you can even add some condiments on the table and place some seafood on the side. You kind of look like cubs. So much detail just for you to eat all the food in 2 seconds. If you have a dog, you can build a small dog house by placing 5 trapdoors like this with a couple more trapdoors on the top. And you can even place a dog bowl on the side and give them something different. Another dog bowl you can do is this design. You can decorate it pot. Putting them together looks like both food and food. If you don't have a dog, you might have a cat. There's also a cool cat structure. You can first place a scaffolding and trapdoors like this, add some fences on the back, and then place a couple carpets on top, and then you have a nice place for your cat to live. You might also have a berry, but you can also give a house. Well, sort of. In order to do this build, you have to push a piece of glass over top of the berry, which is probably seen as animal cruelty. So something you can do that is less cool is this bird bath, which uses a waterlogged slab and some signs on the side. Or you can place a hanging sign like this as a parrot perch. You are also able to use a bell if you don't think the hanging sign looks good enough. And you can also build a cage, which is slightly cool, and its build is like this. A slab and a trapdoor on top, and a chain and a scaffolding attached underneath. Slide. It looks pretty cool. In the pets category is the snake, which I'm not really sure if it is. They don't also really work. The fact that it doesn't move might actually come back. Something that for some reason in Minecraft is balloons, but with a colored block, a fence, and a little animal cruelty, it is actually possible to have balloons in Minecraft. Another thing that is also not in Minecraft is hot springs. That can be changed by putting some trapdoors and some campfires underneath water. You can also do the same technique by placing campfires under lava to get some smoky lava. And this time you don't even need the trapdoors. I would be careful when swimming this one though, because it might be a little too hot. If you're tired of how the regular TNT looks, or just scared of building with it in case something like this happens, you can actually place a barrel like this and put the looking block of TNT. You can even highlight the signs in white to make the text stand out and add a candle on top to look like a fuse. If you aren't afraid of using TNT to build, you can also place a bunch of TNT like this and then put some candles on top and they will kind of look like individual dynamite sticks. You can even light them if you want, but just be careful you don't accidentally miss them. If you do set off the TNT by accident, it might be possible you need to build a grate. And luckily you can attach them off with a lead to the top, but obviously you will have to. You can also make one of those gold rush things that are found in swamps, and if you want to make corn, you can place a bamboo fence on top of 2 bamboo sticks instead. the ground and then place a glass pane and a pot underneath it to make it look like it's being filled up with water. Another cool thing you can do is put some pots in a palm tree and they will look like coconuts. And you can place a pot as a base for a street light like this, or you can even place it at the bottom of some bushes, which looks slightly better than a pole tree. You can also place a couple of these pots on top of the house, and if you combine this with some cobwebs, it actually looks like a chimney. Punching bag that you're actually able to use. Okay, you can't really use it, but you also can't tell from how much. So obviously, those are it's time to show you some of the most elite attacks known to man. If you apply this armor trim to a leather helmet and then place one block up on an armor stand, you can use a piston to push a bookshelf through it, and it kind of looks like a straight sitting up on the window. Another thing you can do is dig out a big hole and then fill the hole with and after that, you can do a little folding up the carpets to get this rug done. Huh, that's weird. It looks like my rug. Something else you can do with the rubber is you can place some blocks through a slab and some parts inside to get a really interesting cushion result. Or if you're really balling, you can use a sniffer's snout as a base to make a golden sip. Another thing you can do with a sniffer, you can place it in the roof and then put a couple of fences in the Okay, this one was kind of a stretch. You can still see it. Something you can do with the cable is you can place it wall and some rich If you place the shelf with the stone slab, it kind of looks like something for a crack in the wall. If you place a bunch of bookshelves beside each other, you can actually build things using the books inside of the bookshelves. I guess suspicious sand isn't the only thing that's fun. Minecraft 1.20 adds a big armor stand, but instead, if you want a penguin in the overworld, you so it kind of looks like probably should have using a penguin head, but because of the floppy ears, it actually kind of looks like bird. Of course, you have to make the other side. If you place the penguin head on the ground and then put a bunch of redstone around it, it looks like a cavity. And if you take Texas is 68, and your red sign under it is 68. Whoever wanted to build a giant snail, you probably what you can by placing a cherry slab, sideways cherry on the wall with a canvas on the top. Now we have giant another giant animal you can put a cherry downstairs like this. Add some flat and add a bunch of sky for eyes and a cherry button for a nose and no extra detail. Making it big, you can also make it more side with very long and attach it to the that's what this is. For a pot. Trapdoor to the side. Even one cherry something else that trapdoor with and that affects the trapdoor. Why does it cost you better? You think probably place the netherite upgrade to ice frame and use it as a buffer down. Job that does not. What is bedrock? Install correct. You can also use more bedrock. Drop it into bedrock dying. Instead of craft. Good job. Or should be able to be on bedrock and dying or enter none problem. Turn it upside down. I'm starting to think. Bedrock is right. Ocean force without gravity. Even right. I really like it. There's still a farmland. Bedrock 17 million blocks. It works a little differently than farmland. Animation when you die, while on Java you just die. And on Bedrock it's massive. Maybe villagers must be a lot dumber. Whether on Bedrock it's actually a lot more Bedrock, you're double the HP. Wait, but it's wrong. Wait, didn't make it any more wanted to waterboard a phantom, you had to find out that phantoms don't have water damage on Java. What if you play Bedrock?
Okay, wait,
Phantoms can actually drown on Bedrock. So light yourself.
it was 93.
Fire switch off. Java doesn't have this option. And Java also doesn't have the option to light these things to the fire aspect of like Bedrock. What's something Java does have that Bedrock doesn't is first one. On you put an iron golem in it. You can see that it works. What on Java, an iron golem. You also gotta make sure that your iron golem doesn't get trapped inside of the rails. Mobs on Java do not want rails. Java really just has superior rails. These things can block off mobs for water. Bedrock has superior leads. It can attach leads to entities like ropes, which is a thing on Java. And they also just Java. These can also be attached to walls on Bedrock, but this only works in Java. And you may also notice that the wall item itself looks different on Bedrock than it does on Java. This is because, well, I don't know why I like this actually. You can also look at iron bars on Bedrock. This is where a lot of symmetry as they are on Java. And also just look completely different between the two editions. I'm going to say that Java is what we call Java, if you spawn a wandering trader spawns. But in Bedrock, if you spawn a wandering trader, you do Bedrock always has the best skills. That is until you find out that farming a pumpkin on Bedrock only gives 1 seed, but on Java it gives 4. And if you've ever seen inside of a pumpkin in real life, neither of these make any sense. I swear those things have been seen. When you pull a crossbow back on Bedrock, the first part of your hand. On Java, you have means you don't have hands on Java. In Bedrock, you can place a bow underneath flowers, and you can get bow on flowers that can spread. On Java, neither of these things are possible. What was possible on Java is climbing up the trapdoor ladder, and on Bedrock, it appears you can't stand there's no way to break. But on Bedrock, you sprint jump through soul sand, it just isn't slow. Java is perfectly straight. You might be inclined to go for a swim while wearing an elytro, and unfortunately in Bedrock your elytro will deactivate permanently. But on Java it actually remains active for whatever reason. Now that you're underwater though, you can grow some coral with Romeo, but only in a warm ocean on Java. I want land water breathing, and on Java this is the opposite of that. You might have when you were in water, and this is what the name of your axolotl looks like on Java, and this is what the name looks like on Bedrock. They got Bro's full government name, social security number, address. If you prefer setting mobs on fire rather than suffocating them, mobs turn orange and red while on fire in Bedrock, but only red in Java. You can also place a bunch of mobs in a small area in Java and start killing them, but on Bedrock, you just can't create a can for mobs. They both have their positive
Oh my god!
This can also pretty much everything on Java. In Java, you cover a bunch of things and you become destructive and it will just you'll respawn within the area of your life. Something slime in Java edition. The slime will still have the same name on Bedrock. If you do, the smaller terms do not carry over the name. It becomes forgotten. In Bedrock, just like things slowly grow up into Java, it should have But for some reason, you're Bedrock having a parrot on your actually without our job. It will be available on Java too. But the difference here is that Bedrock keeps everything for Java. Cat, Fireball, Bedrock, it will turn on. You also probably notice kind of shooting a fireball on Bedrock, but in Java, it just remains red and orange. It's single wording, so he does this, which is cool and all, but it's satisfying. So, wow, if I spell 100 words, it has to do the same thing. Oh my god, I'm pretty sure I'm so high to make sure that was satisfying, but not satisfying is cutting that bandwidth with the call. I actually can't do it. It's a bit more insane watching this from above, just like covering the entire world. What you can do with the help of a couple million ravagers in a scope gap. See now. Sand and gravel to drop on the village as well. And now let's call it image. These are
Timmy? Let's go!
now that's the good first move. On the PC. If you make a block place a repeating command block to spawn zombies, you can make an infinitely dying zombie. That's not what I meant to do. What you can actually do is spawn a bunch of zombies out of the blocks, and then you can kill them all. Okay, it didn't reach the end. What happens if you break these plants that go up to the sky? It's literally raining twisted vines. Now let's do the cactus. actually nice. What about the sugar cane? Whatever this thing is, and finally bamboo. Bamboo definitely has my favorite sound of these. Something that might sound better is a massive brimstone. Okay, brimstone timer to make sure we don't miss the sound. And now we side of each other. That, but it doesn't seem to be working. But I guess we have music. I didn't leave myself on the wrong one, but it's definitely working. This thing actually looks cool. I can't believe this isn't Minecraft. Wait, I wonder what happens if we touch this. For the next one, we want to shine cactus one. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just walking the bottom places for the test. Another satisfying thing. This is pretty normal. I in survival. Okay, now this is insane. You can barely even tell that there are sheep in the hole. Next, let's create a sand-only world.